If you encountered one of these figures in a modern art museum, you might assume it was made in the 20th century. Its surface is smooth, its body is reduced to planes and angles, its face is nearly blank. And yet, this sculpture is over 4,000 years old. This is Cycladic art. The Cyclades are a scattered chain of islands at the heart of the Aegean world. These islands did not produce palaces or monumental temples, no massive religious architecture dominating the landscape. What survives instead are objects meant to be held, carried, and buried. Small, carefully made objects that accompanied the dead. The most famous Cycladic artworks are marble figurines of the human body. They date roughly from 3000 to 2000 BCE, with some early examples going as far back as 5000 BCE. They were carved from marble quarried locally on the islands. Marble was particularly abundant in the Cyclades, and compared to denser stones such as diorite or granite, it allowed sculptors to carve subtle contours and achieve smooth, polished surfaces more easily. But these figures are not naturalistic. Arms fold tightly across the torso, legs taper into simple wedges. The torso narrows downward into a flattened triangular form. Faces are reduced to a single projecting nose. Everything unnecessary has been removed. This is abstraction. Not the absence of skill, but the result of reduction by choice. To understand these figures, we must understand how they were meant to be seen. They were not designed to stand upright as they appear today in museums. Their backs are flat. Their feet point downward. They were made to lie on their backs, like the bodies they accompanied in burial. Most were found in burial contexts, placed directly in graves or near the surface above them. Like much early sculpture, their meaning is inseparable from death and ritual. Many were also intentionally broken before burial, often snapped at the neck or legs. This damage was not accidental. It suggests that these objects were ritually killed, their purpose ending with the life they accompanied, or transformed for use beyond it. Originally, these figures were not white, they were painted. Eyes, hair, and jewelry were added in pigment, details that have largely disappeared over time. Traces of paint show that eyes were often emphasized. When those painted eyes are digitally restored, these figures no longer feel distant or abstract. They feel watchful, and that changes everything. Painted dots mark jewelry, bracelets, and necklaces, details that emphasize the body not as an object, but as a social and symbolic presence. To modern eyes, Cycladic figures feel uncannily familiar. Their reduced forms and clean geometry strongly appealed to modern artists in the early 20th century. Sculptors and painters such as Constantin Brâncuși, Amedeo Modigliani, and Pablo Picasso admired Cycladic sculpture and actively studied its forms. But this modern admiration has often distorted how these objects are understood by separating form from function. Cycladic figurines are not early modern art. They are not experiments in pure form. They were not made for galleries or contemplation. Modern artists saw abstraction. Cycladic viewers saw meaning. Those are not the same thing. While many Cycladic figurines depict female bodies, their meaning remains uncertain. They lack individual features, narrative context, or clear evidence of worship. The familiar label of fertility goddess tells us more about modern assumptions than ancient belief. Identity here appears deliberately generalized rather than personal. It's the human presence reduced to its most essential form. One of the most extraordinary discoveries associated with Cycladic art was made not in a grave, but on the small uninhabited island of Keros. There, archaeologists uncovered thousands of broken Cycladic figurine fragments, carried from many different islands and deliberately deposited in one place. This was not a settlement. It was not a cemetery. It was a place where objects were placed for ritual purposes. The journey mattered. The intentional act of bringing fragments across the sea mattered. This suggests shared beliefs powerful enough to unite distant island communities through ritual. Cycladic artists also created remarkable sculptures of musicians. Seated harp players appear with carefully carved instruments, individualized bodies, and expressive poses. One tilts his head back as if absorbed in sound. Because marble is relatively soft, Cycladic sculptors could carve negative space between arms and instruments, beneath chairs, around bodies, in ways that were difficult in the denser stones used elsewhere. These figures are not crude, they are confident, intentional, and deeply human. Like the figurines, these musicians belong to the same ritual world. Many of these objects came to light not because anyone was searching for Cycladic culture, but because 19th century archaeologists were looking for something else. The heroic world described in Homer's epics. Instead of legendary cities and named heroes, they encountered small, anonymous figures buried with the dead. From the beginning, Cycladic art did not fit the stories scholars expected to find. And that disconnect has shaped how these works have been understood ever since. Cycladic pottery reinforces this picture of refinement and connection. Elegant vessels, decorated with restrained geometric designs, have been found not only in the Cyclades, but throughout the wider Aegean world, including Anatolia. These islands were not isolated. They were bound together by sea routes, exchange, and shared cultural practices. The sea did not separate these communities, it connected them. There is one final caution. Cycladic figurines are among the most heavily looted and frequently forged artworks in the ancient world. Their modern popularity fueled illegal excavation and imitation for more than a century. As a result, the vast majority of known Cycladic figurines lack secure archaeological context. In some cases, museums later discovered that works long admired were modern forgeries. When context is lost, meaning erodes. And with Cycladic art, context is everything. Cycladic art asks us to slow down, to separate appearance from intention, to resist projecting modern ideas backward in time. Cycladic artists were not trying to invent abstraction. They were trying to make meaning durable enough to cross the boundary between life and death. But it's here, in the quiet stillness of Cycladic marble, that abstraction first enters the story of Aegean art with purpose.